Hey guys, so you're joining me for a video I didn't necessarily plan to make. I don't know. Anyway, so I'm going to be useful today and open all of these monster idols with you guys. Um, the boxes are taking up too much space. I have shelves that go all the way around this room and it's still not enough. Altogether, with the various different brands I easily have over $1,000. I can't even bring myself to count them. I know I have well over 400 monster high dolls from G1. I have almost all the G3s. I have over 350 rainbow high dolls still, and I just bought 6 more today. But I'm going to open each one of them and just tell you what I think about them. I don't normally agree with Mattel Creations and how they handle stuff. I've been against it ever since Pennywise went bad. I missed out on Pennywise just because like bots and stuff bought them all before the actual sale went live. It was showing sold out. And like sometimes it does that for other reasons, but literally there was never a point in that sale, even with all the refreshing, that it ever didn't say sold out for me. And so I was so heartbroken, like immediately, that I just quit ever trying again. If it hadn't been for, where's she at? Haunt Couture Draculaura up there and me being a huge Draculaura stan, I probably would have never tried again. Which I regret, honestly, not attempting to get Greta, because she's the only one I missed out on that I wish I had. Most of the time I skip them because I don't really like the human looking ones, like Elvira and the upcoming Hocus Pocus trio, and Tiffany and Chucky and the Shining twins. It's just not really my thing. If I'm going to spend that much money on them, which I also don't agree with how much they cost, but like whatever, they're worth whatever people are willing to pay, and I've obviously been willing to pay it a couple of times. But like Creature of the Black Lagoon with all of her beautiful body details, or I don't even know if you can see them, but I have the Bride of Frankenstein and Frankenstein's Monster. I have Jack and Sally. I'm not even a huge Nightmare Before Christmas fan. I mostly wanted it because of Jack's male skeleton body being a new thing. And I love boy dolls, so like, yeah. So I have like way more dolls than shelves. These boxes take up way too much room. I'm gonna unbox them and tell you guys what I think about all of them. And that's pretty much it. Other than that, since the last time I've seen you guys, I haven't been answering my DMs very well. Like, it'll take me weeks, sometimes months, to just make myself answer like a handful of them at a time. I'm starting to do that way with comments, and I don't mean to. I just can't lately. So, but I'm not giving up on dolls. I'm not giving up on doll content. I'm not even necessarily giving on YouTube. I just don't feel like making videos if I don't have something interesting to say. And I'm not the kind of person who just makes videos rehashing what I've learned from other people on Instagram just to have followers. Like that, it's just not my bag. I don't hate the people who do it. I'm sure they're very good at it. I just have the personality of like stale white bread, and so making YouTube videos and TikToks and stuff is such a struggle for me. Yeah. Alright, yeah, so we're gonna open these. I'm gonna tell you my honest thoughts. Like, genuine, honest. I know a lot of YouTubers will get them, and of course, they get them free from the company, and they're like, oh, it's so beautiful, it's so great. Nah, if it's cheap and scraggly and gross, I'm gonna tell you. I don't get nothing free from nobody, and I prefer it that way, because at least I know that my opinions are mine, and people can trust that they're not bought and paid for. Like, I'm not saying all YouTubers are, but like, you can never really trust in that, can you? As to whether or not they are or not. That's weird to me. So anyway, let's get started. Okay guys, starting with who all we're gonna open. We've got Holiday Skelita. This is the first one. There's a second one that just came out. I don't have that one yet, but I might get her just because I like her dress a lot. I feel like if I combined their dresses, it might be just right. I don't know. Alright, there's Holiday Claudine. And the Raven Dance Wednesday. We've got the original Creep Production Draculaura. We've got Real Drama Draculaura. And then Vampire Heart Draculaura. I've got the Wednesday fashion pack. We've got the Nightmare Before Christmas dolls. Stitched in Style Frankie and Deluxe Guglia, or I'm sorry, Gulux Guglia. The Bride of Frankenstein and Frankenstein's Monster. We've got Enid from Wednesday. We've got the 2-pack of Claude and Draculaura. We've got the Stained Glass Rochelle, the made-to-order one. We've got Haunt Couture, Draculaura, and Midnight Runaway Spectra. We've got the regular Wednesday doll. We've got the Holiday Collection Draculaura and the Creature from the Black Lagoon. And we're going to open all of those together. We're going to start with Enid because she's right here in front of me. Let's talk Enid. First things first, on a scale of 1 to 10, 1 being the hardest, like most awful, don't want to do this again, and 10 being like, yes, this is the best. On a scale of 1 to 10, when it comes to unboxing, she is a 10. She is the easiest thing. I managed to unbox her, like, it took no effort, and I was able to keep most of the, like, plastic tabs that were holding her in the box intact. 10 out of 10 would unbox her again. On to the actual doll. My biggest problem is that the Enid doll is absolutely precious. She was actually a gift from my son and daughter-in-law, so I love her a little extra just because of that. But does she look like the actress who plays Enid on the show Wednesday? Not really. Is she still a cute doll? Yes. I don't normally even get the ones that look like humans, but I actually really enjoyed that show. I thought it was super cute, and so when I said I would potentially look for the other, like the regular Wednesday to put in my fashion pack, my kids kept an eye out for her. They actually saw Enid as well, and they brought me both, which was incredibly sweet. And she was a surprise. I did not know Enid was even coming. Like, I was absolutely shocked when I saw her. So she is really cute. The facial print on her, I mean, sorry about the light. Obviously, there's a glare, but the facial print is really good. I haven't really seen a lot of wonky ones in stores, so she's got an easy face. The hair, look, that hair on the box and that hair on the doll. We all know Monster High has cheap hair, but like, gosh, that's not the same girl at all. And the hair has a ton of gel in it. It's really ratty, exactly what you'd expect from Mattel in general, though. Like, it's not anything new to any of us. So I'm going to wash her hair out. I'm going to restyle it. But if you were to leave her in box, she'd probably be really sad because that's not the same girl. As far as her clothes go, if you follow me on Insta, I showed like a little chart of the outfit pieces that her outfit is an amalgamation of. This is not any one single outfit that she wore in the show. It's actually a combination and restyling of a couple of different ones. The sweater, I don't really love the Skullet hearts, but the sweater itself is cute. It just, with the ribbed band around the middle. Okay, so in the show, the sweaters she was wearing, they weren't sweatshirts with bands around the middle. So it makes her torso look really long, and then she's got like a short skirt that isn't, sorry, I'll get that in a second, but it doesn't really have a lot of volume to it. So the skirt itself looks, I don't know, like it just looks off in proportion between the sweatshirt and the skirt. The leggings, that's all one piece. There's not leg warmers on top of leggings. It's just one piece. The shoes, okay, those are precious. I'm not even mad. The little stuffed bear and stuffed unicorn on the yellow shoes. Obviously, she was just wearing like yellow, like regular Chucks. Here's her backpack. And, you know, it's really cute. Honestly, I didn't unbox her stand because I don't use them when I put my dolls up. I fixed her hair a little bit just by twisting it back and tucking it under her hat until I can wash it and do something better by it. Okay, you guys. So the gel in Rainbow High are pretty gross, but the gel in Monster High takes the cake. Because imagine, as bad as the gel is in Rainbow High, at least they have higher quality nylon hair. The only other thing with Enid is this hand. Look, so there's like a periwinkle purplish nail, one that's kind of a tealish green. There's a yellow one, a coral one, and a pink one. You would think that would be repeated on the other side, but it's not. They've got like a plummy kind of colored one, And then a lavender one, 2 pinks that, I don't know how you can tell, they're barely like a minuscule tint of a shade apart from each other, and then a white one. So just a plain, why not? I don't know if her nails were like that in the show, like were they that bad, but if I were going to redo anything on her other than wash her hair and adjust her clothes, it would be to repaint her nails so that they made a little more sense. Overall, she's a cute doll. Like just the face sculpt, the little curve of her nose, and the big pretty blue eyes. Like she is cute. Would I say she's $40 cute? Nah. She's $20 cute. With a different outfit on and her hair curled proper, and her eyes a little smaller so she looked a little more like the actress, then yeah, maybe like $30 cute. I don't know. The fabrics aren't bad. Like they're not expensive fabrics by any means, and I don't normally like object heels, especially if they have opposite objects or different objects on each one. I honestly cannot stand it that Mattel Creations is so, and maybe that's their thing, like, right? Like that's their signature, is like their cool object heels, but I'm so over it 100%. But yeah, would I rush out and get Enid? Unless you're a huge fan of the show, I'd probably chill on it, honestly. I mean, she's cute, but like if you're gonna spend $40 on a doll, there's a lot of other ones that you could put your money towards. So all right, next up, with the Wednesday trend, we're gonna open up regular Wednesday. I'm really excited to see the new hand sculpt in person. So having unboxed her, part of what made Enid so amazing to unbox is exactly what took off a lot of points for Unboxing Wednesday. I'm talking like, it was a 5 out of 10 for me. Like, if Enid's experience was a 10 out of 10, you're not going to get better unboxing than this. This is so easy. Then Wednesdays is definitely a 5 out of 10, because getting her legs out, removing her overall body part, even getting her hands out was easy. But with Enid, I guess because of her hat, they did not attach her head to the packaging with those stupid little plastic tabs. They absolutely did that with Wednesday, and it was very hard to pull her head forward enough to feel comfortable kind of wiggling even my small scissors down in there and trying to trim them without worrying that I was going to inadvertently give her a haircut, which thank goodness I did not, or I would have lost my stuff. But yeah, so it was that takes off so many points for me. Is that awful? Like, why? They are held in so well, their heads are not going anywhere. Stop it, doll companies. Stop. Like, ugh. Alright, as far as Wednesday goes, the thing hand is really cute, honestly. Like, he's adorable. I know, right? Like, a disembodied hand is just so cute. I'm enchanted with it. But anyway, alright. And I left her packaging up here because I wanted to talk about her purse. I don't want to take it out. I actually managed to slide Wednesday's back into the packaging. Enid's, sorry. And I'm going to do the same thing with Wednesday's, but I did want to talk about her bag. First of all, unlike Enid's huge chunk of hard plastic, Wednesday's is like a nice soft squishy plastic. You can see even the little details in the spider webs and the skullette and the little latches. I mean, it would have been nice to have painted details, but I guess like I'm not expecting much when it comes to Playline Mattel, honestly. But this bag is actually a lot nicer than Enid's. As far as actual Wednesday, I don't know how much she looks like Jenna Ortega, but she is honestly really cute. Her hair is actually really nice. Even though there's like some gel in the bangs, it's less crunchy than Enid's was. I don't even know how that's possible, but it's a fact. And then like the tips of her hair have some crunch to them, but you're not really expecting them to be all like loosey flowy, I guess. The actual braids themselves, however, are like really pretty soft, honestly. I mean, they're firm, but like soft. Also, I'm kind of in love with her like almost rum raisin-esque lipstick. I think it looks more brown on camera than it does in person, but it may be the lighting, because her face in camera looks more yellow than it does in person. She's actually like a very almost cream pale color. She's obviously not as pale as Enid, who's like paper white. Although I guess in this lighting they both look yellowy. As far as Wednesday's outfit, alright, so the coat's very thin. No liner. No real details other than the little lapels. Little plasticky tie. The skirt's nice. I mean, it's a very standard, inexpensive doll clothes fabric, but it's not papery like the coat is. And then she's got these nice little leggings. They have little skullets in the spider web. And then I love her boots from the front, okay? But object heels. Object heels, object heels, object heels. So, I don't know how well you guys can see it. Let me see if I can get it to focus well enough. There is a scorpion on the one side, and then her cello with the spiderweb detailing on the other side. The details in the shoes are gorgeous, honestly. I just don't love object heels, and especially if, like, one has one object and the other one has a different object. If we're going to have object heels, can you at least make them symmetrical by giving them the same object? That would make that a little... I don't know why object heels in general, like having opposite object or different objects, makes me so grumpy. But it kind of does. Alright. Her fingers... So she doesn't actually have, like, fingernail beds like the way, like, rainbow high dolls do. So it's just some random black paint towards the end of her fingers, which it looks kind of odd, honestly. I don't know how to explain it. It just doesn't quite look right in person. The little snap hand, her, like, signature snap snap from the Addams Family theme song hand, is actually kind of cute. It's really neat to see that. Just a new hand sculpt. Overall, the doll itself, I'm gonna say, minus the fact that the clothes are kind of cheaply made, and by kind of I mean a lot, and her dress and her top are all one piece. Like, the belt comes off this little clasp in the back, and then the shirt, like, you can't really display her without the coat because there's no sleeves on it. Like I said, the coat has no liner, and then this is all one piece, which isn't necessarily, like, the worst ever, but, like, you just, like I said, you couldn't really, she wouldn't look as good displayed. Honestly, you'd be better off refitting, I think it's, like, Shadow High Carla Shell Pet's shirt, and then, like, I don't know, making a black skirt or finding one if you wanted to put her in something a little more high grade. I'm gonna fix this belt right quick and then put her out of the way. But overall, if it weren't for, like, the inexpensive clothing, she'd probably be a 10 out of 10. Like, I really love her face. I think the hand sculpt is neat. No, wait, you know what? She'd still at best be, like, an 8.5 out of 10 because I don't love the opposite object heels. So, I don't know. I think overall she's probably, like, a 6.5, 7. Like a 7 out of 10 because I love her face, honestly. Alright, next up, we're going to check out the Raven Wednesday. Okay, guys, before I open Raven Dance, I'm going to stop for a second and open this fashion pack. I just want to first talk about the box. Why is it so beautifully soft? Like, I don't know what they call this texture. It's almost like a powdered satin texture. Smoother than satin. Smoother than silk. I don't even know. But it's almost kind of powdery at the same time. But, like, I'm enjoying the heck out of this texture. Like, I'd keep the box just because it feels nice. If I weren't already keeping it anyway. So let's open this bad boy right quick and see what's going on with it, because I may redress Wednesday in it, just because, like, her Nevermore Academy outfit just isn't particularly luxe, and because Enid doesn't have her school outfit, she's in a more casual thing, like, Wednesday probably should be too. Alright, let's check it out. Okay. 10 out of 10. Love the box, love the outfit. The quality of this overall outfit is so much better. Even though it's got a faux zipper that's really just a piece of, like, bric-a-brac or whatever they call it. Even though it's a faux zipper, like, in general, this quality is so much nicer. The hoodie is an appropriate fabric and a nice weight to it. The design on it is cute without being overwhelming and, like, clashing of the print of the dress. The dress print is cute. The dress is really, really nicely made. The dress fabric is awesome. Really nice fabric, lovely seams, nice Peter Pan collar or whatever they call it. The socks and shoes. The socks are kind of rough because like it's like they're white socks with black over or something. So when they stretch, they just look more whitey or white-ish. White. I don't know. I don't know the word for it. You can see the white behind the black is what I'm trying to say. And then these shoes not being object heels, 10 out of 10. This outfit is way better. I'm definitely leaving her in this. If they were ever to release an Enid fashion pack with her school outfit, like her actual uniform, then... Sorry, I dropped the thing. Then I could see maybe getting even seconds of those two to have in their school uniforms, but for now, this outfit is by far superior. As far as her little violin, it's just plastic. Like, it's exactly what you would think it is. It's hollow, but it's still a lot nicer than any I've ever seen from, like, Barbie or any other Monster High stuff. Like, that's so pretty. Like, the detail in it, the spider web. I do wish that the details were painted. Or that, I don't know, honestly, I can't say that because even though I wish they kind of were so they would stand out better, anytime we get painted details, it's a hit or a miss. And often it's a miss because the painting or stamping or whatever it is that they're doing to color those details usually ends up looking really sloppy and having a bunch of messed up lines and being really frustrating and whatever. So I'm going to leave this and the bow piece or whatever it's called for it in the box and put them in storage. I'm leaving her in this outfit, her more casual outfit, along with Enid in her casual outfit. But again, like if they were ever to release an Enid school outfit fashion pack, I might buy doubles of them just to display in their school outfit. Maybe. I don't really think it's worth the price. Like, these are like $25 to $30 dolls. They're not really 40 and up kind of dolls. I think they're like $39.99 or something, like $39.99, like right at 40. But honestly, that extra $10 could go towards something else. So, however, this fashion pack is nicer than anything that Mattel has ever offered from Barbie. So, there is that. Alright, let's go ahead and open Raven Dance Wednesday. Okay, really quick, to start with for unboxing, I had to go through and put my arm inside the box. Like, I slid through the plastic that was holding the box closed, but then I had to go in and push all of these little tabs outward and able to pull her out easily. Just something that you guys should know if you're having trouble getting her out and you can't figure out why. Box art, super pretty. I do think that her eye makeup in the box art version looks a lot darker and thicker. It's probably like the hand-painted prototype that they did a photo of versus an actual representation of the doll that you get. On the back of her is your little certificate of, I guess, authenticity. And they do come with stands. All the Wednesday dolls did. I don't take the stands out because I don't personally use them. I don't have room for that. I can cram more dolls on a shelf without them, basically. Alright, so I'm gonna slide her off of here and then we'll talk about her. Alright, let me start by saying that for every time I have to remove a doll's head from the box with those awful tabs connecting it, I'm just gonna start angrily deducting more and more points. It's one of the things I cannot stand about any doll brand. There's no need. You've got their neck strapped in, you've got their waist strapped in, their upper arms, their hands, their legs in two different places, strapped in with this stupid plastic ties. Why do you have to shoot them into the back of their heads as well? And, ugh. So, a 5 out of 10 for unboxing because it was annoying. As far as the actual doll, again, like, it doesn't look like the box. The box has so much more black makeup, whereas with the doll has a spot on the floor, apparently. With the doll, if you look, like, hers is like a gray color, and it's not as heavy on the top or underneath. But the little skulls and the eyes are a super cute touch. Her earrings actually remind me of, was it Picture Day? G1 Picture Day Draculaura, in a way. Just unpainted though. The dress is this beautiful, soft, fluffy organza creation. 10 out of 10. I bought her because I knew I was going to be in love with this dress. Am I worried about having her unboxed because it looks like it could fray? Because it doesn't seem like it's really finished on the ends or sealed? Yeah, I'm really worried. Having her out of the box for that reason does definitely make me kind of nervous. That's real. But the glossy black lips and the little skulls in the eyes. I love the hair. Now, I know what a lot of you are thinking though, but what does it look like from the back? And right now everything's going through that trend of whatever my hair looks like in the back, it doesn't involve me. But just so y'all know what it looks like. So it's not two braids fully wrapped around and tied. They've got these weird little baby piggy tails in the back. Yeah. And so you can kind of see how they're kind of weirdly humped up on the sides in some cases. Yeah, I mean, look, I get it though. They're limited on the styling, but it's not my favorite. Alright, as for the belt's really cute too. Just your classic little W Wednesday belt. And then, again, she also has the weird kind of, doesn't really have fingernails, just has paint daubed on the ends of her fingers vibe going on. Underneath her dress is actually, this is a full-length bodysuit. It is a separate piece from what I can tell. I undid the back of her dress and it has its own separate Velcro piece. So that's kind of nice. The shoes are actually really pretty except for object heels. What are they even supposed to be? I guess, I don't remember the show very well because I watched it forever ago. I guess this is supposed to be like an ice shard or something like that. I remember something happening at the dance scene that there was snow or ice or something. I don't remember. And this one, it's really hard to tell. It looks like some kind of creepy cryptid. You guys, if you remember what these heels represent and you've watched the show more recently than me, or you just have better memories than I do, please comment, because I don't know what they're supposed to be, honestly. And as far as what I think of her, I'm going to give her an... I don't love the object heels, and I wish her hair didn't have that weird bump in it, but I'm going to say a 9 out of 10. You know, like, I mean, a 9 out of 10 is good. Like, I really love her. The dress wins me. Actually, if her makeup or like it were on the box, I'd probably give her a 10 out of 10, even with the object heels, unpainted earrings, and bump in her hair. But yeah. I feel like it should be like an 8 3/4 stars. I don't know if you guys get that reference. Probably not, because unless you were a child in the 80s, you wouldn't. But Star Search was very big back then. So, no, but I do really love her. Like, honestly, like, she's really, really pretty in person. Alright, next up, who should we open next? Probably some top shelf stuff. Maybe the original Creep Reduction, and we'll just kind of work our way across. Yeah, that sounds good. Here we are, ready for the original Creep Reduction Draculaura. I'm not going to take all of her accessories out of the box, only the doll itself, because I already have her umbrella and Count Fabulous from my original. And this way, if I ever had to put her back in the box to sell her Gold for Bed, but everything would already be in the box. And real quick, can we just take a moment to appreciate whatever this is? Like, The face is so bad. Alright, and then we have the Dracula diary, and I don't remember if it's this one or if it's Jackson Jekyll's diary from the originals, but I remember one of them actually having read that her nickname is Lala, or I guess that's what he calls her. So honestly, a lot of times, even in my post, I still refer to her as Lala, and I know that people are probably wondering, like, what? Alright, so the face on her is pretty good. I actually could not find her in stores. I found Frankie, Claudine, Laguna. Was it Laguna that came out? Like, I think those four or whatever. Anyway, I got them. I could not find her. And so it was actually a friend from, somebody who became a really good doll friend from Instagram, from over the other side of the mountain from me, who had found her and was willing to ship her. I actually sold the other three. I should have kept Claudine. I thought, oh, I already have one, and then didn't realize, the face has so much wonk, because they've been in storage for forever. My G1s have. So I do want to re-get a G1 Claudine that doesn't look like doo-doo at some point. But for now, that person helped me get this really lovely Dracula. I mean, her eyes are minimally uneven. Like, one's a little closer to the side of her nose than the other one, but like it's a very small amount. Like, I think that that's the thing with Monster High, is you really have to decide, is it enough that it's gonna bother me? Like, what? Because people in general, like humans, have uneven faces. There really has to come a point where, like, a lot of times you can look at it forever and not really notice unless you're attempting to notice. I noticed pretty quickly, just because I've gotten so used to working in Photoshop, people's portraits and stuff. I can really tell if, like, features are uneven or not. But for the most part, almost all Monster Highs have uneven features. You really have to just think, is it bad enough to bother me? And this is not. Like, to me, this is an acceptable amount of wonk. So I was really grateful that that person was kind enough to get her for me. Just because I was like, oh, it'll be nice to have one I'm gonna leave in box. And then I realized, yeah, no, that's not working for me. So here we go. Let's take her out. So I can't really criticize her hair. I wish they wouldn't cut the bangs like so far over and then in uneven layers. But that's just how doll companies are. That's all of them, honestly. I don't understand it. MGA does it, Mattel does it. I almost prefer when they don't do dolls with bangs and I could just do the bangs myself. The clothes are pretty much the same. The shoes, I mean, the shoes are a good reason why I say that as much as it would have been neat to see Wednesday's cello or whatever painted, they're a pretty good example of why also we probably shouldn't. Sometimes things are just better done yourself. But the clothes feel really accurate and everything to the first one. I feel like my first one had silver earrings instead of white, but maybe I'm wrong. I also feel like they were maybe a little bigger, but maybe I'm misremembering or thinking about a different doll. I feel like this wasn't the only time we saw the safety pin earrings on someone. They must have been white, right? Because even my real drama Dracula one, like hers are white as well. I definitely have to be misremembering then. Anyway, yeah, overall, the unboxing process, she did have two little tabs in the back of her head, but I was able to slide her entire inner insert out and trim it really easily. So I'm going to say that overall, it was like a 9 out of 10. Like, she was really an easy doll to unbox. I didn't even have to cut anything else. Everything else I was just able to just slide her out of. So if I ever had to slide her back into her box, it could easily just look like she was still in it. I mean, I would never fool anybody that way. I would definitely tell them if I had displayed her out of box, but it would be nice to know that she could still look like she was still new in box if they wanted to leave her that way. Hopefully I will never have to sell my dolls, but I always try to keep in mind that, like, most Americans are one bad day away from not having a home. You know, it takes one bad day of waking up late and losing your job, or, you know, going outside and finding you have a bad tire and not being able to go to work, to lose your job, have trouble finding another one, can't pay your rent or your bills. Like, it's, a lot of people here are one bad day away. So I do try to keep that in mind, that there's always that possibility, even though I'd like to try and avoid it as much as possible. But yeah, like, honestly, she's just pretty much straight up the same as, like, her skirt even has that weird kind of gappy look that the first one had. So I'm gonna give her a 9 out of 10. If the bangs were cut a little better, that would be boss, but otherwise she's really, really excellent. All right, next up we're gonna go for the Tim Burton pair. So the box art is incredibly lovely. I'm very much looking forward to opening them, seeing them in person. All right, so Jack loves Sally, true love never dies. All right, so you can see them down in there. I'm gonna pull them out right quick. So the shape of this box, the top is slanted upward, and that does make it really hard because you can't really stack anything on top of it if you were having to stack them on the shelves or anything like that. But look at that. Wow. I mean, her face is honestly absolutely beautiful, and his sculpt looks amazing. And I haven't even taken them out of the box yet. I will say really quickly, like, there's something, I guess, like, their faces on the box looks more hand-drawn, whereas their faces in person are more like smooth painting. So they don't exactly look like the box. Just keep that in mind if you're loving the artwork on the box. There's something just ever so slightly off. And I do believe that's just what it is that they don't look as hand-drawn on the actual doll. All right, let's pop them out of here because I'm so excited to finally actually, like, hold them in person. Okay, so before we get to the doll, I'm leaving the purse and the stands in there. Again, it also comes with a certificate of authenticity at the back. I completely forgot to film it until after I got the insert back in. But let's check out these dolls because let me tell you, just opening them, my jaw dropped. As far as unboxing goes, I'm gonna say I really didn't have to trim much. Sally's head was attached, Jack's was not, except for around the neck, which was kind of easy enough to pop through the holes well enough. So I'm gonna say, like, unboxing wasn't super annoying. It was perfect. It wasn't super annoying. 8.5, maybe 9 out of 10. As far as the dolls themselves, literally as I was unboxing it, my breath was taken away from details. And I don't say that about a lot of things. Not even, like, I've had rainbow high dolls where I'm like, oh man, this is so cool. But not so much that I was like, whoa, wow, mind blown. And these guys kind of gave me that. Like, honestly, like I said, I like Tim Burton's aesthetic for the most part. I like The Nightmare Before Christmas. It's a very cute movie. Ton of work went into it, but I'm not like one of those obsessive Tim Burton or Nightmare Before Christmas fans. You're not gonna see me get tattoos of it. I think I have like one Nightmare Before Christmas sweater, and I got it because I wanted the socks it came with from Walmart because they looked really warm and they didn't have any, like, they were just striped socks. So I'm not a huge fan. I have done some makeup looks inspired by some Tim Burton stuff, but I mean, because it's cool. It's not usually something I'm obsessed with. These dolls, on the other hand, obsessed. All right, so we're gonna start with Jack, and so you can see, like, his makeup looks a little uneven. This side is a little higher towards his nose, but I think it just kind of goes towards that hand-drawn look. So his mouth, let's see if I can show you. These little stitches are actually into the plastic. It's not just painted on, it's molded in to the plastic, which, considering how thin those lines are, how thin the little, like, even the slits for his nostrils, in fact, all of that is so well done. It is not messy at all. There's not pieces missing or overdrawn or put in the wrong places. Like, it's really absolutely gorgeous. And then you have his little tie. I do wish it were painted, because I think in the show, doesn't it have white to it? It's not all black. At least I don't think so. So yeah, like, that part would be nice. Yes, the clothes are thin. They're kind of papery. They're not really that much difference in terms of thickness or whatever than Wednesday's jacket. It almost feels thinner because of the satin feel to it. And yes, this shirt, vest, pants, all one part. But I guess I kind of get it because of how thin he is. I feel like if his pants weren't all one part, it'd be nice if the vest were a little more separate, but whatever. I feel like his pants would just fall down. Like, when you'd have to have a really tight waist. I think it's neat that they did the 4 fingers, long, bony. Like, they kept it to the animation. Wow, he's just amazing. Alright, so the shoes, there's so much detail. Sorry, I'm trying to use my garbage can and all the junk under my desk. I'm so in awe. I didn't even notice that I'm just filming like random stuff. The shoes have so much detail in them. Trying to catch as much as I can and get my camera to focus on it, but like, and they both have like the same heel. The outfit, like I said, it's not much. And he does have, if you guys remember, like if you were a G1 collector, how Skelitas had a plastic piece that covered her chest for her skeletal body, that kind of had like, it filled out her outfit a little more. He does have that on under here. So I don't want to take all of his clothes off, but I'm going to pull this back a little bit so you guys can see. Hold on. Okay, so you can kind of see it in there. There's like a clear plastic thing. But look how much sculpting is into that. Like, whoever designed this body, bravo. Like, honestly, it's so sick. The outfit is so cheap for how much these guys cost. But, wow. I mean, if the entire budget just went into, like, sculpting their faces and bodies, alright, I accept that. Now for Sally. Okay, the earrings and the necklace are really nice touches. Same with the little headband. I really wish that there was a better way to attach it than those stupid white tabs, because honestly, they're just big enough to be super noticeable, and it kind of takes you out of the moment. Her hair is inexpensive, but it doesn't feel as coarse and gross as like a Monster High hair normally feels. It's got some softness to it, but I can't really complain about hair, can I? Because I was a huge G1 collector and now they're all greasy and disgusting. So, you know, I'm just in love with the face. Okay, under her sleeves, we see some plastic there. And I know that back in the day when we had tulips, they would do that under articles of clothing they thought would stain, because some of the earlier dolls, like the original Fanatica and Principessa, had clothes that would stain. So eventually Tulip started doing that, where they would put like little plastic underneath. And so saying that, and that's on the lace, which is mimicked here, on the bottom of the skirt. And I noticed, like, I don't know if you can see it, like there's like a spot on her knee already. So just something to consider if you're worried about staining. I guess if they're in box, it probably doesn't matter because you're not going to notice anything different anyway. But yeah, just something to consider. But like the dress itself, the beautiful spiderweb lace. See, this is, for me, this is object heels done right. Because even though they're two different ones, one's Deadly Nightshade, the other is Frog's Breath, and they're two different shaped bottles. They're similar enough that I consider them well done. So whereas I don't normally like object heels, these are kind of like Enids, where it's different, but it's similar enough that I find it acceptable. And so you can see her blue stitches. Whereas the ones on her face are like a mixture of a darker blue, gray, white, and black thread. The ones on her body are all this same kind of light blue thread. Honestly, I mean, her body's your basic standard Monster High body. So nothing really to discuss there, but her face is just, whoa. even if everyone that we've opened up until now, I said, I don't really know if it was worth the money. These guys, I feel like I don't regret what I paid. I'm absolutely in awe. Like, I could probably rave about them for another 20 minutes, but I'm not going to because we have other stuff to open, including somebody I've been looking forward to, the Haute Couture Draculaura, and of course, Midnight Runway Spectra, because Draculaura and Spectra were my, like, Draculaura was my first. My Sweet 16 Draculaura was my very first G1 Monster High doll, and then Spectra was my very first Grail that I ever had. Now that I've gotten my breath back from the gorgeousness that was Jack and Sally, let's talk about this Haute Couture Draculaura. Alright, so you can tell, like, depending on the angle, like, even from straight on, one eye is ever so slightly higher and one is ever so slightly closer to her nose. Same with her lips. One side is just a little more full than the other. From, you know, just a normal, like, distance, looking at her, you can't really tell. It's only when I get up close that I notice it. So, to me, her face is acceptable. Let me tell you how much I just love this little hat. I do wish that the vamp was more even and not tilted, but I also get it because the vamp comes down at the same way the back kind of goes up, so it forms like a V shape. And honestly, if I had that hat, I would wear it myself. And she did have the plastic tabs in her head. It actually is just a little more complicated because she had these weird plastic belt-like things around like her waist and legs, and I couldn't figure out how to get them undone without like messing them up. So I did manage it, but like it just took a few extra minutes more than I wanted to spend on unboxing her. So I'm gonna give her unboxing like a 7 out of 10. Like, I got her unboxed. I could box her back up and not make it look too much like she was out of place if someone wanted to display her inbox like that. But also, Alright, so I didn't take her brush out or her stand, but I love the metallicness of them. As far as everything else, this little hat, it feels like felt, but like, so it's not soft the way you would think it would be when you look at it, but it's not awful either. Like, it's firm and it holds its shape really well, and I support that. Alright, as far as her accessories, I mean, she's got the metallic pink earrings and this necklace. Originally, the necklace has rubber bands keeping it on and in place. I actually just kind of removed them and kind of tucked them under just a bit so they weren't so obvious, because it was like on top of the necklace thing and just like all I could see was rubber band, even when I tried not to. Let me tell you, okay, so like the rooted lashes are definitely my thing. Like, my favorite Mycene doll is a Masquerade Madness Delancey with rooted lashes, out of the ones I own, which isn't that many because I sold all of mine like a billion years ago. I actually started doll collecting in like 2003, so really when Mycene was kind of getting into a thing, and I had like a ton of them, but I just bought them for clothes for my pulips and then got rid of them at some point. Oof. Yeah, so, but I love the rooted lashes. I love the bangs. They look a bit uneven just because one side sits a little higher than the other, and it's more noticeable because her eyebrows are, but it's not her eyebrows that are uneven. Like, it's definitely her bangs, so, or fringe. I feel like fringe makes more sense than bangs. I know in America we call it bangs, but I do not understand why. Like, feel free to comment and fill me in on that. Fringe just makes more sense because it looks like fringe on a jacket or whatever. Anyway, as far as the pink, the pink sparkly stuff on her cape, it's not even really that sparkly. Like, have you ever spray painted something and near where you spray painted there were like flecks of paint that came and kind of splattered around, like, because it's an aerosol? It looks like somebody did that. It's very coarse. Like, texturally, it is not a moment. I don't love the feel of it. Her little belt, I also kind of moved the rubber band holding it on around a little bit. her belt kind of sits weird because like the waist of her dress is way down here, but her belt is made to be smaller around her actual waist. As far as the skirt goes, it's 3 layers. It's very nice. I mean, unfinished edges, but I don't really know what they could do with this kind of material, like, honestly. And it's not actually, oh wait, it's not 3 layers. This lace is just sewn onto the bottom of the skirt. It's very small, very delicate, very nice, and ew, my hands are super gross because of the dye on them not wanting to come off. That's okay though. Nobody cares about my hands anyway. You're just here for the dolls. Alright, so gorgeous backpack. It's very soft. It's got a nice little Velcro closure and a faux zipper. I really should have bought the one at Hot Topic that was like this, but I wasn't really trying to spend that much on a purse, honestly, especially since I just got a new purse last Christmas. Alright, and then matching lace and the little polka dot ribbon from her shirt sleeves down here at the bottom of her leggings. There's that ribbon in case you couldn't see it under her cape. And then the shoes are like this really nice soft plastic with these pretty little heart buckles. And then sleeping bats for the heels. Absolutely love her. I mean, does she stun me as much as Jack and Sally? No, but like really what is going to with the sculpting. But as far as Draculaura's goes, she definitely breaks the top 5 for me. And that's hard to do because, like I said, I've been collecting since G1. I have some pretty solid favorite Draculauras, but yeah, no, she's gonna be in there now. Like, she's in that top 5. Oh, and should I just say, like, her hair is actually really soft and fluffy. Like, it's still, I mean, it's still that cheap fabric. You can tell, like, it's tangly. It's nowhere near Rainbow High quality, which I guess that's what kills me. I mean, we all talk about how Rainbow High is dying, and a lot of it is that a lot of Rainbow High collectors bought them because they were reasonably priced upon coming out, and they came with 2 outfits. Like, you were getting so much for that price. And even as the price went up, though, the quality control wasn't great, but the overall quality, up until a point, stayed pretty decent. The hair quality was really good. The faces were really lovely. We you know, got those 2 outfits up until a point, and even then, when it was just 1 outfit, even the outfits we didn't necessarily love, looking at you, Costume Ball Violet, were still really nice in comparison. Like, when you look at the paper thin, you know, printed on fabrics that you get from Monster High, and the scraggly hair, and, you know, whatever, what people are paying for in nostalgia is the same stuff that people didn't want to pay for in Rainbow High. Like, so many people would wait until there was a sale because they were expensive especially if you were going to buy all of them, like, you know. And I do think that did contribute to the death of Rainbow High, is that people didn't want to pay $40 a doll. But then, you know, we have folks out here paying $80 and $90 a dollar. Even the Wednesday and Enid ones, $40 for what? For what? You know, like, branding, I guess, from the TV show. But yeah, overall though, Haute Couture, she was a little pricey, especially for a Monster High doll at Monster High quality, with this quality of hair and printed on fabrics and whatever, but she is really beautiful, and I genuinely do love her. This one's definitely up there with one of the better ones. But would I have wanted to pay that much for her if her face had come any wonkier? Oh, I'd have been so angry. Alright, guys, let's open Spectra. Okay, so as I mentioned prior, Spectra was my very first Holy Grail, like the original Spectra. She was very hard to find back when Monster High was still really new. And the face, the cheekbones, the like pouty lips, gosh. But also, the rooted lashes look so good. Honestly, I was kind of worried that the Spectra wouldn't do it for me, but, like, I was wrong. Alright, you guys, I'm gonna open her up right quick. I have a lot to say on this one, and the first thing I want to say is the deboxing was a 2 out of 10. She's actually harder to debox than Haute Couture Draculaura, despite being in a similar box. Or I guess, like, I thought they were Midnight Runway, but it says Haute Couture, so I guess she is Haute Couture Spectra. But yeah, again, she was not strapped in her box the same way. Her shoe got tangled up, and it's my fault for not taking her shoe all the way off. It got tangled up in the part where I was trying to pull through that had been holding in her waist, and so tangled just for me, like, gently tugging it through, that I had to actually, like, trim the part that was wrapped around her waist originally. It's this little plastic piece that holds her to the box, so it wasn't that big a deal, but, like, I was trying to avoid all of that. Okay, I'm going to start from the head and work my way down. This mask is, like, you know, putting it on her face will probably leave dents in her face, which is why it's never going to go on her face. It is cool. As far as masks go, it is cool, like, in that it mimics the smoke plumes of her shoes, and I really like anything translucent. But this hair, okay, let's start with, if you are going to use the same hair that you use on your $25 dolls for your collector dolls, just don't. Like, this is so gross. It's just a mass of cheap, tangled, oh, some came out. Yeah, I can wash it and, you know, recurl it and whatever. I don't want to have to. Could doll companies just stop using crappy gel, crappy glue, crappy hair quality fiber? Like, just stop being crappy. Because I don't want to have to do a ton of work to a doll in order to make it acceptable. Ugh. Especially with as much as these cost as collector dolls. This is... Her hair feels exactly like the, like, really bad hair G3 Claudines. It's kind of soft and fluffy, but it's kind of gross too. Alright, her face is gorgeous. The lashes could probably use trimmed down on one side, because if you look, the one side is way longer than the other. And I actually prefer the shorter side. Well, what's the green? Like, what is that? There's no green anywhere on anything else on her at all. Who decided on green? I don't understand the choice that was made that day. But whatever. Pouty lips, perfect cheekbones, otherwise perfect face, but green. Alright, as far as the jewelry goes, I normally don't like just the random weird, unnecessary chunks of unpainted plastic that Mattel chooses to slap on every single Monster High doll in existence. Just unnecessary chunks of unpainted plastic. But at least this is metallic, and that makes it look a little better. I don't actually mind any of these pieces. Are they my favorite thing in the world? No. But they're not the worst thing either. Her outfit could go with or without it, and I probably wouldn't be too pressed. Honestly, I don't even mind the earrings and the belt. The necklace isn't giving for me personally. But, like, yeah. The outfit. Alright, so you got the cheap thin plastic, which you know is not where the budget went. And the raggedy cuts, but it looks ghostly. I'm not going to criticize, because the pleathery parts look really pretty. However, if you've been collecting dolls for any kind of amount of time, we saw it with Bratz, we saw it with Mycene, we saw it for a lot of the early 2000s dolls, this pleather fabric, eventually, whether you touch it, mess with it or not, starts to peel. And it starts to flake off. It's a very, very cheap, pleathery, whatever. So it does not hold up over the decades. Like, and I feel like if they are touched a lot, like, not even touched a lot, but just in general, your fingers have oil on them. If you're touching them, there's a chance that it's going to speed up that process. So be prepared. The shoes. I love the blue smoke plumes. I love the feeling it's giving. I love her translucent, like, feet and hands. But what are these shoes? I don't mind the design, but why are all of the other chains metallic and then the shoes are this? I want to give her a 10 out of 10 because she's a Spectra and her face is gorgeous from a distance. I'm going to give her a 4 out of 10, and honestly with that hair it feels generous. A 4 out of 10 because I do have to trim her lashes. And even though the green doesn't look bad from a distance, I do still have to trim her lashes a bit. Otherwise they're just going to be uneven and obnoxious. The mask seemed unnecessary. The shoes that don't really match any of the other chains was bleh. Her outfit is very cheaply made, even though it's cute. But I don't even remember what she cost. But I remember what the other Haunt Coutures cost. And nah, was it worth it? Not with that hair, it certainly was not. No, I'll give her a 4.5 out of 10 just for the cheekbones and the pouty lips. And that's as generous as I can be. This is day 2 for me. For you guys, it's all the same video, but for me, this is day 2. Hence why they're stacked differently. I literally just didn't have enough space otherwise. Like, and trying to balance them on top of each other. And I couldn't even remember how they were stacked on day 1. So please forgive me if they're a little different. I've had time to think about the ones that I opened the first day. And honestly, it's really opening these is actually making a huge difference for me about how I feel about Monster High. It's making me like it less, a lot less. Like, I don't plan on, unless there's another like Jack and Sally type very special set, I don't plan on spending any more money on Skullectors. Like, unless there's a super cool body sculpt, I don't plan on wasting any more money on these. But I'm going to finish opening them and tell you guys what I think about the rest of them. So the order we're going in today is no specific order. It's just how I was able to stack stuff in the moment. We've got the Holiday Dolls, Claudine and Frankie. We've got Real Drama Draculaura, which her hair looks really silky, and I'm kind of looking forward to opening her. Hopefully she lives up to that. We've got Holiday Skelita and Draculaura. Again, a Draculaura that I'm very much looking forward to opening, and I hope she lives up to it. Good luck Sculia and the Love Edition Draculaura and Claude. Yeah, she looks gorgeous. His outfit is not doing it for me, but we'll see. Bride of Frankie said, this is the set I'm looking forward to opening the very, very, very most. We'll see about that. Then there's Rochelle, and which I think I've only taken a peek at her when I first got her. I opened her box to make sure her eyes were straight, and I have not opened her since then. Creature from the Black Lagoon, and then Vampire Heart Draculaura. Again, these aren't in any order. It's not like I'm opening least favorite to most favorite or anything like that. I'm literally just opening them how they would stack best. So, starting from left to right, we're going to open her, and I'll tell you guys what I think. Man, you guys, you've missed it, honestly. Like, okay. Whew. Let me start off by saying unboxing her was like a 1 out of 10, and that's being so generous. Honestly, I got her shoes out easily. Like, okay, so please keep in mind I am trying to unbox them without undoing all of these little plastic tabs that hold them in. So that does make a difference. Honestly, I could have just snipped. She loses points for, again, having tabs through the back of her head. Why? They already have her waist strap down, her neck strap. Like, where's her head going? And honestly, on this doll, her hair wasn't going anywhere anyway. So, you see these little tabs that go, like ribcage style, like diagonally? They're in there to hold her hair into place. Her hair is such a disgusting, tangled rat's nest that it was wrapped around those things so tightly, I thought I was going to have to cut her hair to get her out of the box. I did not, thank goodness, but I had to struggle so hard to even get her hair untangled. Like, pulling, it's disgusting. It feels disgusting. Like, why can't they just do her curls so that it all looks like this? Why is this even a thing? Do you see that? That's gross. Rats probably wouldn't even live in that because they'd be like, what is this nasty stuff? And the thing is, she's a gorgeous doll. Look at that face. Beautiful face. I'm a huge Claudine stan. Honestly, she's probably like, I mean, I want to say like top 5, but probably honestly top 3, because I own a lot of Claudine. I almost always find her doll beautiful, but I always find them gaudy. For whatever reason, especially in the G1 Claudines, they gave her, I mean G3, I see it too in G3, I can't even say that. They would give her the most neon animal print, gaudy, mismatched crap. And then they'd give her a junk ton of gold jewelry, like more gold necklaces than Mr. T on a single doll. And I get it, werewolves and silver and whatnot, so she has to have gold, but like, it was unnecessary amounts of huge unpainted chunks of junk plastic. This doll doesn't have that. Okay, honestly, yeah, her dress is that fabric. We all know that fabric, that really cheap papery fabric that Mattel uses on everything. But look at that, it's so pretty though. Like, I'm almost willing to forgive that. Necklace, see that? It's got painted spots. Bracelet, painted. Shoes, painted. Like, in all honesty, she's really gorgeous. The hair blend, beautiful color choice. I love that the headpiece. Like, the belt, I love her except for the nasty hair. I'm trying to unbox her with such a miserable experience because of the hair, and only because of the hair. If it weren't for that, she'd have had like an 8 out of 10 unboxing, and that's because 2 points deducted from having her head stapled to the box. But much like Honkature Spectra, who, you know, had the same nasty hair, and I think like the same color blend too, she's going to have something done with her hair. Because I can't display her like this without looking at it and feeling just disgusted by it. So, overall, I'm going to give her an 8 out of 10. I should deduct way more than 2 points for the disgusting hair that I'm now going to have to do a bunch of stuff with. But she's so beautiful. The face, the painted jewelry and shoes, and the dress, even though it's that fabric, it's really pretty. Honestly, like, I love the design on it. It's not overly tacky to me, which a lot of Monster High is, okay? Like, I am well aware Monster High built their brand on just being utterly tacky. Like, sorry, I'm in the light, so I'm giving her like a 5 o'clock shadow. Here we go. But yeah, no, Monster High has always built their brand on the tackiest possible fabrics and just mismatched junk. And I get it, but like, opening these has helped me make a decision. Like, more decisions than one. I'm not buying any more Skullectors, like I said, unless it's just an out-of-this-world body sculpt or one of my favorite characters. And even then, it's gonna have to be, because this is proof, it needs to be like some A-plus looking stuff. And even, you can't guarantee what you're actually gonna get. Like, what they show on the website, what they show in the pictures, this looks nothing like that. But that, and I kind of, looking at it, really want to get rid of most of my G3s at this point. I just I'm out of love with Monster High for the largest part, because everything they're doing is such crap, and everybody's overpaying and eating it up, and I can appreciate, like, you love what you love, you're going to pay for what you love, and that is what it is. I just am losing the love, you know? It's just getting a lot harder. So, anyway, moving on. I'm going to set her on the shelf, and we're going to open Frankie. Okay, you guys. So, I want to say this really quickly, and that is that these are collector dolls for a reason. They're probably meant to be left in the box forever, so you never have to touch them and realize just how cheap and awful they feel. Do I regret unboxing them so far? Yeah. Should I probably stop while I'm ahead? Yeah. Am I going to? Nah. We're just going to go ahead and blast through these. But in saying all of that, Frankie, G1 Frankie especially, has never been my favorite character. Despite that, I got this Frankie because I thought, wow, this Frankie, like, you know, A, she reminds me of Threadarella, which is one of my favorite Frankies from G1. But B, like, she looked really pretty, and I'm glad I got her. Of all the ones I've taken out of the box so far that I thought, ugh, brother, ugh, No, she's really gorgeous. Honestly, I don't usually like the big wads of unpainted plastic, and these would probably be a lot cooler if they had done what they did on Haute Couture Spectra and made them chromed. But like, I love her. Honestly, I love her so much. Her hair is, and maybe because it's straight, is very silky, very soft. Her face, let's see if I can get a good lighting somewhere in here. Maybe not. It's always either too bright or not bright enough. But her face is absolutely gorgeous in person. The little top is super cute. Yes, I know. It's that pleather fabric that it's not gonna last forever. The shoes, so beautiful. Like, honestly, I don't know. Monster High had a period before the object heels, mind you. Monster High had a period where they had the most innovative and beautiful shoe sculpts of any doll line ever. Mattel was crushing it. Like, a lot of the G1 Monster Highs have such brilliant shoe sculpts. And then Mattel Creations got caught up on object heels and just never stopped. Like, they just put all the innovation in the heel and then just don't do anything with the rest of the shoe. I don't know. But, yeah, no, the fabric is very Threadarella. Look at little scissors. You got the tool under there. Little arm cuff, which normally I would think was unnecessary or just kind of overkill. But it looks good. I like the headpiece. Like, I mean, I probably should tuck, like, this weird chunk of hair under there, and I would like it better. But honestly, unboxing her, I had a little trouble. I'm gonna give her unboxing like a 7 out of 10, only because I struggled to kind of get the inner liner out a little bit, and maybe that was on me. But then also 2 points for the head being tacked to the box, because trying to get that out without accidentally cutting their hair, like, I've managed every doll so far, but I've managed in fear. She's gorgeous. Like, if I'm going to rate her, I'm going to say 10 out of 10. Like, I just don't see, oh, there we go. I don't really see any flaws with her. I just don't. Mine came out absolutely gorgeous. I mean, if we wanted to talk about the inexpensive hair fabric, but that's on every one of these dolls. But yeah, no, like, I'll give her a 10 out of 10 for just being absolutely gorgeous with those perfect, like, silver lips and just all of it. All right, moving on. We are now going to do the Holiday Skelita. So I'm a huge Skelita fan. I think that the body sculpt obviously is very, very amazing, which is why I was so hyped to get Jack and Sally, even though I'm not, like, this insane Nightmare Before Christmas fan. Is just the skeletal body mold is amazing to me, and I wanted to see what they did with the male version. They were 10 out of 10, where the Jack and Sally were like 1,000 out of 10. Like, they're gorgeous. But they did do a collector Skelita before this, kind of in that G1, G2 generation version, and her nose wasn't really painted, so, like, it just looked really awkward. But this one, the face paint on her looks really pretty. I'm excited about it. Like, I A+, I'm not even mad. I kind of wish that if they were going to do a Dia de los Muertos for Rainbow High, that they had done Maria's makeup more like this than what they did. But it's too late for that now. Anyway, I'm gonna open her really quickly and tell you guys what I think. I will say there's already a new Holiday Skelita that just came out for 2023. And even though I just said I don't want to buy any more of these, I kind of want to buy her. Because, A, I love Dia de los Muertos stuff. Being a Mexican-American person, I celebrate Dia de los Muertos, both days of it, and decorate, you know, my fireplace with candles and photos of relatives past, etc. So I am, like, a big fan of the overall aesthetic as well as the actual religious significance. As far as getting her out of the box, 9 out of 10. It is very, very easy to remove her. If she loses the point, it's specifically because they won't stop tacking the back of the dolls' heads to the box, and it drives me insane. That's literally the only reason. Sorry, I'm gonna move the slide around right quick so you can just... She's gorgeous, honestly. Like, she really, really is. I feel like no matter how I move, though, like, I'm just not able to pick up just how beautiful these dolls are. Because the truth is, in most cases, the faces are the best part. As far as the accessories go, at least look, at least it's painted. They could have just left it all yellow. Like, let's be honest, because that's a very Mattel thing to do. The shoes are nice. Like, I feel like the only thing I don't like about her dress, and yes, it's that fabric, and yes, it's more skelettes, which honestly, I don't think the skelette design is that impressive. I don't really enjoy when doll lines just... It's like with Rainbow High when they just put sparkle on, like, everything. Like, stop. It's not necessary. We know what brand it is without all of that. She does, really quickly, have this plastic cone under her dress that helps fill out her bodice a bit, as well as keep her dress fluffy and more spread. The dress for me is kind of a miss, mostly because of that top. I mean, I could deal with the print, I could deal with the thin paperiness of the skirt. The ruffles are a cute touch, but like the top, I don't like that fabric, honestly. That's a me thing though. And I get that. Like, I will say, compared to G1 Skelitas, she looks less wall-eyed. G1 Skelita looked like her eyeballs were just rolling loose in her head. They were looking two completely opposite directions at all times on the G1s. This one is not that bad. She at least looks like she's looking straight forward with both eyes, for the most part. They're a little far out, but not bad. Not bad. I like the accessories. The shoes are alright. The dress isn't really great for me. The hair is actually really nice compared to some of the other ones I've opened. You know, I'm going to tell you guys a really quick story. A very, very quick one, I swear, and then we'll move on to the next doll. When I met my now husband, Bear, before we even started dating or whatever, when we were still friends, he told me once that whether we ever dated or not, it didn't matter. He was going to show me what I deserved to be treated like, so that I would never ever want to be with trash people ever again. You know, like, he was going to show me what I deserved so that I never lowered that bar ever again for myself. And I thought, oh, you know, he's like all guys, he's just running his lip. And to this day, he has not only kept his word, he has gone above and beyond. So in relation to these dolls, by the way, like, just so you know, I have a point. Rainbow High and MGA dolls with nylon hair, like the high quality nylon, not whatever those Rainbow High swim dolls were, because bleh, but like Rainbow High and Shadow High in general, like the earlier dolls with that nice grade nylon hair, have set a bar so high that I don't really want to go back. Honestly, every time I open another Monster High doll and it's got that super cheap non-nylon hair, I just think about what he said and I'm like, why am I going back to trash when I know better? When I hold these dolls and I think about what I paid for them, and I think about what Rainbow High cost and what I paid for those and the quality of those, these make me so sad. I feel like I just threw away my money for no good reason. Like, when I hold these, even with the impressiveness of her sculpt and how cute her face is painted, I think about what I could have done with that money in my life, and it makes me never want to buy another Monster High doll again. And I'm not really trying to be that guy in this video, but like, I'm also trying to be as honest as possible. Like, because that's important to me as a person and as a brand or whatever. I wasn't always a great influencer when I was a photographer. I was kind of a poop one and not the best person, and willing to, you know, talk well about people that probably didn't deserve it because I didn't want to have problems. I don't have anything that I owe these companies. They've already got my money, obviously. So I'm going to say what I think and what I genuinely feel. and be a better doll influencer than I ever was a photography influencer. So yeah. Skelita, overall, the box opening was a 9 out of 10. The doll itself is like a 7 out of 10. Only because her face is really pretty and her hair is about what you'd expect from Monster High in terms of like the G1 quality. The accessories are nice. But the dress, I'm deducting like 3 points for it being mid. Honestly. Disappointingly mid. Like that's... Alright, so moving on, we are going to open Winter Edition Draculaura. And you guys, I'm praying that she's the most amazing thing since sliced bread because I need that right now. I'm a huge Draculaura stan. So, yeah, let's get on that. Box opening, I'm going to give her a 7 out of 10, only because A, the head staples, B, when they did the little plastic one to hold her hand in, they stapled her hair into the box, which made her almost impossible to get out. It took a bit, it was a bit of a struggle because I wasn't trying to like cut her hair or anything like that, so it kind of made her hair messy. But in terms of hair quality, it's on par for what you would expect from Monster High. This is like the nice mid, I guess maybe it's Saran or whatever. I don't really know most hair types. I only know what's poo-poo and what's not as poo-poo when it comes to Monster High. So, outfit. Okay, so normally I don't like the big chunks of unpainted plastic. This, I think, like with the crown, it has glitter in it, so it kind of just makes it look like it's meant to be like black, sparkly. Same with the chest piece. These actually don't bother me. The belt's even kind of cute. I don't really get the gloves, like with the stripes. Other than that, though, I really like her outfit. It's not the most expensive, luxurious thing ever, no. But the puff sleeves are a nice touch. This, like the sparkling black snowflakes are a nice touch. Having the spider web on the pink, it's glittery too, so it makes like a weird noise, is a nice touch. The earrings aren't anything necessarily to write home about, but they're also cute. Like, everything is just nice. And there's a lot more detail to the shoe. Like, you can pick up like little snowflakes on it. So the shoes are actually really nice just because they are very detailed. Okay, so I paid retail for all of these. None of them are secondhand. I don't really remember how much she was in terms of saying like if she's worth it or not. But I'm not disappointed by her. And she's got a little bit of hair tinsel, but it's a reasonable amount. It's not like the Rainbow High or OMG, like let's put every piece of tinsel in the entire world into one doll. This is like a soft amount. Just enough to add a little sparkle. Like, this is reasonable. Overall, I'm going to say that she's, you know, she's a 9 out of 10. I don't remember what I paid for her, and I don't necessarily like the gloves, but she's probably worth it. I'm probably going to need to trim her bangs a bit, which is part of where, like, I'd say a half point for the glove, a half point for the bangs, because they're not exactly trimmed like on the box. Not that that's unexpected, coming from, you know, a mass-produced doll. Sometimes, you know, you've got to do a little touch-up here or there. It's fine. Her face is actually really pretty. It's kind of hard to see her eyes from under the bangs. If you look on the box, her bangs are supposed to have kind of a curve over the eyes so you can see them better. Depending on how she stands, you almost can't see her eyes at all. And if you look at the little heart, see if I can pick it up, on her cheek, there's like a little spider web over it. That's kind of cute. Her makeup's actually really, really pretty. I don't have any beef with it at all. I know it kind of looks yellow where the shimmers are, but it's actually white in person. It's just the lighting kind of gives it a yellow tone. But overall, I really like her. I'm not disappointed in her at all. Like, I do think that whatever I spent on her was probably worth it, even just as a display doll, because she's really pretty. I'm not just saying that because I'm a Draculaura stan, but, like, that probably doesn't help. Alright, moving on, we're going to do Real Drama Draculaura. Okay, so I'm not sure, I know I mentioned this once, but I'd just like to say every single doll that I've opened thus far, for the most part, like all of the Skullectors and all, have all had a certificate of authenticity in the back of the box. Real Drama does not, but what she did have, and I didn't know about this, is this little poster. So that's actually super cool. It matches the mini poster that she comes with. And then she has Count Fabulous, who is actually pretty well painted. I mean, honestly, I don't know if you guys remember all the way back to when I opened the, what is it called? The crew production. But this doll tops at 1,000,000,000%. First of all, her skirt fits properly, and so does her top. The skirt on the crew production was so loose, it didn't even, like, sit proper. The painting on the shoes, much better. I mean, it's still, you know, a little flawed because they're mass produced, but much better. The only thing I would have to say is if you look, and there's a little bit of glare, but you can kind of see her fangs are crooked. And so it's only by a tiny bit, but since I don't ever plan to get rid of her because her hair is super nice, literally everything I could have complained about with crew production is fixed with this doll. Like, she's genuinely beautiful and perfect and 10 out of 10. The only thing I'd have to say, even unboxing her was a very easy experience, other than the 3 little head staple holes, which I was able to, like, her head was loose enough that I was able to easily clip them without worrying about clipping her hair. Unboxing's like a 9 out of 10, only because it loses points for those, like, dumb little taggy things, honestly. And even then, because they were loose, I'm gonna give it a 9.5 out of 10. The doll itself, other than the crooked fangs, perfect. 9.5 out of 10. The little poster, adorable. I'm framing it. I'm definitely keeping it and framing it and putting it on my wall. And I'm going to try to make or buy a tiny doll frame and put that joint on the wall of my dollhouse because I love it. But because I'm keeping her, I am more than likely going to repaint her fangs because that will eat at my soul forever that they're crooked. But yeah, the whole, I mean, her box came to be kind of floppy. I guess would be a good word for it, but doesn't matter. She's staying forever. I love her. Yeah. And I know, like, I haven't really reviewed most of them as being particularly positive, but this one is, like, I absolutely adore her. Alright, you guys, only 6 more left to go, thank goodness. So next up, we're gonna go ahead and do Ghoulia. Again, I'm a pretty big Ghoulia fan from G1. G3 doesn't really do it for me. Now, we already know the pleather, the bodysuit, the boots, in, you know, 5 to 10 years time will be flaking off and falling apart because that's what that material does. And I'm not sure if keeping her in box would prevent that. Obviously to some degree, because your fingers naturally have oils on them, and even if you wash your hands a billion times, like, your fingers naturally have oils to them. Touching this kind of stuff is going to probably not help. I can't really say, I'm not a scientist, I don't really know that it would hurt, but it probably doesn't help. So anyway, I am going to open this gorgeous girl and pray that everything's good. What? Okay, I didn't notice she had, like, a small little tear in her box. I feel like that wasn't there when I got her, but she's never been opened before, so, huh. Doesn't matter, it's going in storage anyway, so let's pop her open. Gosh, I don't even know where to start. There's so much going on here. Skeletal crown, love it. Glasses, they do have the plastic band behind it to keep the glasses from having any paint rub or leaving indentions on her face. Can definitely appreciate that. She was super easy to box. She comes with a certificate of authenticity. As far as deboxing goes, the tabs in the back of the head is still a thing. So 9.5 out of 10. But the green eyeshadow, the green worm earrings, I honestly don't even mind the green and red together on her because I think it kind of suits her character. And the blue and the white and the black keep it from looking super Christmassy. I don't frequently display my dolls with their purses. Sometimes I don't even take them out of the box. This case, I'm actually glad that I did take it out of the box, and I do plan on displaying her with it. Because it has that added touch of green, without it, I feel like there's not enough green that makes, because you can't see her eyes really behind the glasses. Like, you can't really see her eye makeup very well. So the worms just kind of feel out of place. So I thought, well, you know, I'll take her purse out and display her with it to add a little more of that green. And okay, so first of all, I'd like to say that I like that they added the extra color along the bottom and didn't just leave it one giant unpainted chunk of one colored plastic. It could still use some cooler detailing, like maybe paint the bone white or whatever, but it's not bad. And I'm glad I took it out of the box because I did not know that this was here. I don't really watch YouTube, and when I do, I don't ever watch any doll YouTube. I've watched a handful of videos from maybe 2 or 3 other doll YouTubers in the past, but I've always just kind of managed to not watch them because I didn't want them to influence me and how I do YouTube. I didn't want to go whole heart trying to keep up with everybody else and end up hating doing this. So I just stuck to doing it low-key, chilling in my room with like a basic light and whatever, because that's where I'm comfortable. So I didn't know this was here. And how cute is that? It's very throwback to her G1 life. And I absolutely support it. It's super cute. I'm glad I took it out of the box. Glad I decided to display her with it. These boots are amazing. I mean, the brain pattern is actually very Ghoulia, and I support that. But this, like, the skeleton hand heels, don't love object heels for the most part, but that's object heels done right. And it's the same on both shoe. Like, these I support. These I definitely support. Now, I know I said that these dolls were really kind of making me not want to buy any more Skullector dolls. But I had pre-ordered Jinafire back when that was a thing. And she's made by the same designer as the girl or person who designed this Ghoulia. Yeah. This is making me glad that I ordered Jinafire, because this is decent quality. Like, I can't still say that it's not closer to Playline than Collector per se, but like if I was going to have a Collector doll, like I feel like this one was done so much better than almost all of the other ones, minus, you know, Jack and Sally and maybe Real Drama. And Real Drama, technically, she doesn't even come with a certificate of authenticity like these girls do. She's technically not even a Skullector doll or whatever. So there's that. I honestly think that this is so cool. Like, so the puff sleeves are actually separate from the I don't know what you call them, the bolero or whatever this piece is. So they're their own thing. And then you got the red ribbons coming down, which I just kind of like that it adds more red towards the top. This, I normally, like I said, I don't really love the just random unpainted chunks of plastic, but it does add a visual interest to the front of her outfit. And then the back of it is also super cool. Like, just, I know it's just your basic, like, spinal sculpt, but I like what they did there. I like the balance of the colors. I mean, I think that because I plan on keeping her, I'll probably remove the plastic and leave her glasses in the box, so they don't get lost. Because I really want to be able to display her where I can see her makeup. As someone who wears glasses, like, I get it. You do all of this gorgeous makeup, and what does it matter? Because half the time it can't really be seen that well anyway, unless you take your glasses off. So maybe I'll leave them on just because I know that struggle. And it's okay to be able to be, like, gorgeous as heck and still be able to see. You know? I get it. Part of me does kind of want to take them off. So, overall, boxing experience, 9.5 out of 10. Doll, honestly, 9.5 out of 10. Only, she should be a 10 out of 10. Hear me out. Only because I'm still just, like, kind of about this. Like, it does add visual interest. It does give that pop of red. I do like the sculpt on the back, even though you can't really see it. But, like, it just, I'm just so tired of the big chunks of plastic around them on her chest all the time. But I have mixed feelings on it, so I'm going to give it a 9.5 out of 10 only because of that. Technically, she probably deserves a 10 out of 10, and I'm just being critical at this point. But yeah, I do love her. Absolutely. Alright, moving on. We're going to open that 2-pack, and I'm dreading it because Claude's clothes are so... Anyway, alright, let's get on that. Really quick, just an overview of this set in box. So many unpainted plastic accessories. Now, I did see some Instagram folks go in and, you know, paint the umbrella, paint the accessories to be better, and it made a huge difference. Massive difference. Claude's outfit looks very 1970s. Dracula's face looks gorgeous. Claude's face looks really nice. I like his textured hair. Let's open it up and see what it's all about. Okay, so I was really clear. For Valentine's Day, this was the only thing I wanted because I'm a huge Claude and Dracula fan. I like the unpainted accessories so little that I didn't even take them out of box. Same with the little cards and everything. I left them in there. I'm not going to repaint them. I'm just going to set them aside. Same with Claude's clothes because... What's going on, sir? Why are you so unfashionable? Now, as far as the shoes go, I think they're kind of cool. The weird belt chain isn't sewn on or anything. Like, it hooks on the front, and then same with the back. The wolf detail with the little moon and the wolf head is kind of cool. The watch is very standard Barbie and Ken. Look, she can't stand to be away from him. Dracula's hair looks gorgeous from the front. From the back, though, it's that again. I always ripped her hair out trying to get her out of the box because it was so tangled around the rubber bands that hold her hair down. They did both have their heads stapled into the back of the box, but they didn't do it through his flocking, like many other doll brands have done. Looking at you, Rainbow High. They did keep it to the little strip of curly hair, thank goodness. So it's bad enough that they had to do it at all. Like, they're definitely losing unboxing points for that. A full point because it's a half point each for the staples in the back of their head. And then another full point for her hair just being such a darn mess that everything else about them came out of the box easily except for that. Her hair was an actual fight. So, yeah, her face is gorgeous. They've got a cute little moon in her heart there. I love what they did with the eyes and lips. Honestly, I don't normally like red and pink together because they clash so badly. But this Dracula is making me, like, not hate it the way I should. Apparently she does. The belt thing and the gloves, I mean, they have a lot of detail in them, but at the end of the day, they just visually appear to be huge chunks of unpainted plastic. Her dress doesn't actually look bad without the belt, so I may or may not leave it. Normally, I'm not a fan of gloved hands, but, like, I guess in this situation, it goes alright. The shoes are cute. I mean, again, just a lot of unpainted plastic. There's no details or anything that you can see because there's nothing, what is the word I'm looking for? There's no contrast given. The earrings also have cute details, but you can't really tell. Alright, well, these guys don't want to stand up, and I don't want to take their stands out of the box. Real quickly, though, I'm going to redress Claude and see what I can come up with. No OMG or Rainbow High clothes in terms of pants are going to fit. OMG is way too short, and honestly, the Rainbow High pants I tried on him were too short as well. Claude has some really long legs, so I left him in his original pants and then tried to find a shirt that would fit. I ended up just grabbing, like, one of the girls' plain black Rainbow High shirts. It fit Claude well enough, and since he already had that 70s guy vibe going on with the mesh shirt and the blousy overshirt, I just kind of stuck with that, because in the 60s and 70s, a lot of the guys, I guess, especially in the 70s, wore, like, and early 80s, wore, like, the crop tops. I took Dracula's black belt thing off. I don't 100% know if I like the dress, like, better without it, but maybe. I feel like I do, but then it also kind of feels like something's missing without it, so I'm not sure. As far as the overall score, Claude's outfit is such a mess. Like, I could never keep them in box looking at that outfit for the rest of my life. I cannot do it. Draculaura's isn't bad, but the unpainted plastic accessories are just too much junk feeling, you know? Like, what should be really cool, what could be really cool because of the sculpts, just looks like junk without any kind of paint or color to them. So I'm going to discount those as well. I'm going to give points for both Claude's gorgeous face as well as Draculaura's gorgeous face. Claude really makes G3 Claude look like the middle school edition. Overall, though, for the set, I'm going to give them a 5, and that 5 is completely comprised of how gorgeous their faces are. This is the 2-pack of the Bride of Frankenstein, and of course Frankenstein's monster. It's so hard to hold it. Hold on a second. In order to open it, I kind of had to like stretch these because they were closed and very tight. So I'm a huge Bride of Frankenstein fan from like the original, of course, black and white movie. And I feel like they did a really good job of making her look like the original actress, especially with the bit of chin dimpling there. I do notice that she has like a, can you see it? The little mark beside her nose, like a little dent, and she doesn't wear glasses or anything, but she has it on both sides actually, so maybe it's part of the sculpt that's meant to be there. It'll be easier to see once I pop them out of the box. The box says "We Belong Dead," and the other side doesn't really have much of a decoration, but oh, they're so cute. But I was mostly interested in Frankenstein. I love the male dolls. The only ones I'm missing that I know of are Hoodooed Voodoo, which was like the first SDCC doll back in the day. And I didn't really get him because he was just a plushie. I was just kind of disappointed and always hoped that Monster had like a real like doll version of him. And I know he was a voodoo doll. I know how the show was, but like I always just kind of hoped. And then also Rebecca's father. I cannot even remember his name, but I'm missing him, which makes me very sad. But overall, like I really love all of the male dolls, so I'm hype about this guy. I'm gonna open them up so we can look at them without that glare. My take on these, having deboxed them, okay, as far as unboxing goes, I'm gonna give it a 9 out of 10. Again, she actually had the little tabs in the back of her head, but he didn't, so I guess technically 9.5 out of 10. They were really easy to unbox. His suit comes with the cool lightning bolt motif. Look at these hands. They're massive paws. I mean, it is boots too, for that matter. Like, his feet are the normal size of any other Monster High guy, but these boots are so huge. Like, just absolutely massive. As far as his body goes, I mean, the hand sculpt, the head sculpt are all new. I think he's taller than the other Monster High guys, or it might just be the shoes. I don't know, but he is beefier, but he's not like Manny Tar or Rebecca's father. Like, he's not beefy like that. He's like slender still. Look at all that detail. I like that they didn't just make him handsome. Like, I know with Slow-Mo, Ghoulia's boyfriend from the G1 show, they actually made his doll, and Ghoulia's for that matter, way more attractive than their show counterparts. He's got like actual Frankenstein vibes. He's not crazy amounts of, you know, good looking or whatever per se. And I don't know if you guys can see it, but like in his face sculpt, like I don't know if you can, there's like bags under his eyes, lines to his face. Like, they did actually go out of their way to kind of give him that real Frankenstein monster vibe. Alright, let me see if I can stand him back up. His shoes do help him stand better, but overall, like, he's still not great at standing by himself. I don't know, I still think he's kind of handsome. Alright, so as far as the bride, her face does have those little indentions, but it's on both sides of the nose. So maybe it's supposed to be there. I don't know if anybody else has this set. Please let me know if yours has that. And of course there's the chin dimple. I feel like they did a really good job of giving her, you know, Elsa Lancaster's vibes. Like, I think it really suited her. Now, I know that outside of the black and white movie, the bride's hair was actually like a reddish brown color. But I'm kind of glad that they went with the black and white. Overall, the stitch belt, by the way, doesn't really sit very well across the little sewn part, so it's kind of bulky and bumpy. Being a huge fan of the Bride of Frankenstein, I will say that, like, this dress is better than what she wears in the movie. The one that she wears in the movie has very boxy, like, square shoulders. It literally looks like fabric wrapped around cardboard. And it's just a basic sheet, and then she has wraps on her arms and hands. On this, they do give her this really great textured fabric that looks like wraps. Honestly, they should have done some of Cleo's clothes in that. And the dress itself is all one piece with like a sheer over part on top of, like, the stuff that looks like wraps around her arms and neck goes all the way down as the dress, and then there's a sheer overdress on top of that, but it's sewn in the back to be all one piece. And then it's got this cape. I'm not really sure what that's about other than to add texture, but then on top of that, everything else is a clean white, and then that weird cape looking thing is like a vanilla off-white. So I kind of just want to take it off and leave it in the box. But then her dress might look, oh, sorry buddy, too plain without it. The shoes, again, with the wraps and being really white in comparison to the cape. And then she's got the ballerinas in the back of her shoes. Some folks didn't get this reference. It's actually a reference to the homunculi in the movie. One of them is a ballerina girl in a jar. But I don't really get the blue color. And there's no blue in anything else. Her or Frankenstein's monsters, anything, has that shade of blue. So I'm not really sure why they chose that. I felt like a gray, or maybe even just a regular clear, since it was a glass jar in the movie, would have been a much better choice. The blue is just really off-putting. So I guess if anything, I would give her different shoes, and take the weird cape off. But otherwise, I love both of them as a set. I really do. Like I said, I got this set because I'm very big on the Monster High boy sculpts and characters. Also, I just want to say, like, let me just set her down right quick. This hair is the softest, fluffiest, most delightful thing I have felt in a while. I love it. It's very Honey Swamp in that, but even that, like, Honey Swamp's hair was soft, but it was more tightly curled, so it was soft in a different way. I don't know how to explain it, but needless to say, I love both. He's a little stiffer as far as, like, sitting down goes. She's got a very typical Monster High body. Honestly, I love them. I love them both, but I'd love her better if they just done a little better with her overall dress and not put the weird miscolored cape thing on. If they had just used clear for the glass on her shoes instead of the blue. I'm going to give them like a 9 out of 10 for that. His outfit could have been a little more interesting, and her outfit could have been a little cleaner and better toned, but otherwise, like, honestly, they're absolutely wonderful. Wonderful dolls. I mean, the little Elsa Lancaster chin dot. I love it. I love it so much. I'm pleased with them. Like, I'm glad I bought them. And I think that, much like Jack and Sally, these guys feel worth the money to me because I am such a big Bride of Frankenstein collector. The reason they don't get a 10 out of 10 is like with Jack and Sally, whose outfits I really, really enjoyed. I didn't love Jack's vest, but for the most part, it didn't detract from his overall look for me. Her weird cape thing and blue shoe stuff actually kind of does detract. So I love them, and if I were going to buy more Skullectors, it would probably be in the case like these, where there is a male doll as well, and you know, that they're just characters I'm like really in love with or whatever. Alright, next up, you guys, we're gonna open Rochelle. Okay, so I know that this doll is very what is the word, controversial in that no one liked her. Even with everything that people voted for or whatever, you know, because she was kind of like a fan vote doll, not everyone was really that happy with how she turned out, and a lot of folks claimed that they weren't going to buy her. I bought her in part because I was worried that since not a lot of people wanted to order her because they didn't much care for her, that if I realized later that I liked her, getting her would just be impossible. So it was better to buy her, hope that I liked her, and risk not, and then the worst happens is I, you know, resell her, recoup my money, than to not get her, and then have her be so short demand, or so short in stock, the demand rises, and not that many people have ordered her. She was made to order. There wasn't going to be more, that the price on her would be ridiculous, and I'd never be able to afford to get her if I decided I liked her. So honestly, since I've gotten her, she's been displayed like this, so I haven't really looked at her. I mean, I opened the box to make sure her eyes were straight when I first got her, and then that was kind of it. So let's give her a good look over. Okay, so I just checked eBay and I looked at the completed sold listings, and I was pretty much worried for no reason. She really doesn't go for very much at all. I saw her like new in box go for as low as, like, with shipping, around $125. I think that it was like $112 plus shipping. The shipping was like $10 or something like that, and then up as high as about $190 including shipping. So she really, and I mean, I paid I think $90 for her plus shipping, so it was just over $100 from Mattel Creations or something like that. But, or maybe it was 90. I know she was like 90, I think. Anyway, was she worth that much compared to some of the other dolls that were cheaper? Not really. Trying to move the light cord, but I mean, so she comes with a little poster and her Fang Vote certificate of authenticity, and then I mean, she's very pretty. Her makeup is pretty. I love the eyelashes. I mean, she's very, very Rochelle, but there's a lot of just big chunks of black unpainted plastic as a part of her dress. The purse doesn't really go with what she's wearing. A lot of it was that we had multiple options. Not all the options looked great together, and I mean, it was a fan vote, so I guess we got what we got, but I'm not really mad about it. I think that she is really pretty. I also think that, like, I don't feel bad about opening her because she really hasn't gone up in value. If she does later, then, I mean, it is what it is, but I'm never going to know if I loved her enough to want to keep her or get rid of her or whatever if I don't open her. The same goes for all the rest of them. Opening them has been really eye-opening so far, as like, the ones I thought I would love that I just don't. So I'm going to open her up so we can see her without the glare, and I'll let you guys know what I think. So having unboxed her, I'd like to start by saying one of the really neat things about her purse, even though I'm leaving it in the box so it doesn't get lost, is that the chain on it is real. It's not like a plastic chain, it's actual metal. And her purse is really nice. It just doesn't match her dress. It's way too dark. It doesn't go with any of the other pinks on her at all. So I'm not thrilled with that. Now, as far as she goes, the face is beautiful. The face I'm 100% pleased with. But the hair, look, it's not as bad as Holiday Claudine or Haute Couture Spectra, but it's probably along the lines of the Love Edition Draculaura. Like, it's not the worst hair I've ever felt, but it's pretty tangly towards the bottom, like, kind of matted looking. It's soft, it's just not great, you know? Like, maybe it'd be better with a wash and a curl, I'm not sure. I'm hoping anyway. Now, as far as her headpiece and the earrings go, I really like them. I do. And I like the shade of blue that they used. I like the shade of the metallic pink. Even though I don't know how well that's gonna, like, hold up as far as the fabric goes. But I do like it. I'm not a big fan of chunks of unpainted plastic, which is what this belt thingy is. But it is really nicely, like, intricate, like, reasonably intricate, not, like, super, but it is nice, and the dress doesn't look so great without it, which I'll show you guys here in a minute. But I like that they carry that through with the glove. Now, the bodysuit, let's see if we can get under here. The bodysuit has the same basic, like, theme going on, but I wish they'd just given her, like, pantyhose instead of pants, because then they only go halfway down her boots, they bulk up, and it cause her boots not to wrap around very well. Now the shoes or boots or whatever they are, alright, so when we saw the stained glass design, I think we all thought that, like, it would have different colors in it. So the fact that it's all just blue and black is kind of disappointing. And just the fact that the shoes, I mean, they're very soft and flexible, but they don't wrap around all the way because of how thick the pants are. Alright, really quickly, I'm going to take this black thing off so you can kind of see her dress better. Okay, actually hear me out. The dress doesn't really look bad without it. I mean, you still get the black detailing that shows through from the bodysuit. It looks like I need to scooch it around a little bit because it's kind of uneven. But it doesn't necessarily look bad without the unnecessary chunky plastic. I don't understand, like, Mattel, and eventually MGA started doing it too, I guess, to some degree, but, like, just the amounts of, like, unnecessary plastic accessories. I mean, I know they're for play, because they're for children. They don't want to just redress their dolls. They want to use their imaginations, but, like, I just wish that if they were going to include accessories, that they were, like, well painted or otherwise just, like, slightly better quality. But overall, she's got a really pretty face. If you're a Rochelle fan at all, the face is kind of worth it. Like, in person, she's so much prettier than even the pictures on her box or anything I saw on the website entails. I'll probably leave her out and just leave the plastic pieces off of her when I display her. So that's a thing. Overall, unboxing wasn't bad, but I couldn't slide her out as easily without having to clip some of the plastic around her. Only like the one around her waist, because of that big plastic thing, and because it goes over her arms. I couldn't just. It was too hard to try and slide it off in the box. Like, it wasn't really possible. So I'm gonna give her. Oh, and her head was still stapled to the back. So I'm gonna give her like a 8 for unboxing. As far as the overall doll itself, the hair definitely loses points for me. And then her having pants instead of like stockings that went all the way down or something kind of puts it off. So I'm gonna still say, even with the doll, like, we're looking at like a 7 out of 10. You know, the points I'm taking away mostly are for the tangly hair, but then also, yeah, the pant thing. Honestly, she probably deserves like an 8 out of 10. I think that, like, I get why people didn't adore her in terms of like choices. And it was kind of the same thing with Jinafire that we just did, like the Fang Vote for her as well. Not everything that won was stuff that went well together. So I think that was just kind of the same here, and why she has a purse that does not match her dress at all. Yeah, so I mean, you know what? I'll give it a 7.5. That way I don't feel bad about over giving her points and making it an 8, but I don't feel bad about giving her a 7, even though she's really gorgeous. We're going to put it at a 7.5 out of 10 for her. Alright, next up we are going to open, I don't even remember anymore. The creature from the Black Lagoon. So moving on to the creature from the Black Lagoon, I already expect to some degree her hair is not going to look as nice as on the box. This is really sad. I feel like it's worse with Rochelle, because Rochelle was made to order, and it took months and months and months to get her, so they had time to do stuff with her hair. They just did not. But I'm still expecting it to be bad just because it's Monster High hair. So I'm going to open her up and see what we're looking at. For the most part, I would give her deboxing, you know, a 9 out of 10. It was very easy. Looking in her box, that stand, okay, so like the translucent part is actually really cool. Then we get down to this little translucent part and I'm like, okay. And then we get down to this and I'm like, oh, ew. I feel like if this base were painted, or maybe if they just stuck with making everything the translucent green, and then maybe that little blue part to just kind of add a pop to it, it would have been okay. But like this is just kind of chunky and ugly, which is sad because it looks like, you know, it's got a lot of cool detail to it. You just really can't appreciate it to the fullest because it's just one big chunk of plastic. Other than that, so like, you know, it's very bottom of the ocean or well, I guess lagoon. They have like the legs coming down out of a boat, you know, I guess like her victim or whatever. And I love that they even gave it like jointed doll legs, so it doesn't look like a you know, human legs. It looks like a doll's legs. I like that. That's really cool. The orange doesn't 100% do it for me with the greens, and I mean it's not bad. It pops. I'm just not sure if it pops in the best way possible. She comes from the Black Lagoon, so maybe I would have preferred to just see her with like some black lips. I don't know. But oh, well, hello there. Hey, you're in the way. Or am I in your way? Come on. Oh, come on, big guy. Yeah, he can't go very long without attention or he might die. Well, he says that, you know, she looks like a fish, but she doesn't smell like one, so I guess that's good for me. I don't know how he feels about it. The details in the face sculpt are absolutely amazing. And I think the hairpiece is kind of neat, and even like the earrings being little anchors. But I mean, she wasn't sauce. She wasn't the most expensive doll, but like the fact that she just came in a swimsuit. And I get it. She's like a monster from a lagoon, so like the swimsuit makes the most sense. But then of course they accentuate it with a bunch of thick, chunky, unpainted plastic. And okay, even with the arm pieces right here, they could have matched the boots at least and painted like the fins. They didn't even do that. They didn't give her painted nails, but they gave her painted toenails on her shoes. So her shoes literally are just feet. I feel like they could have just done like what they did with Laguna and make this fin part onto the arm, and make the lower legs out of the boots. Like, I just wish they had given her something more substantial. Do you know what I mean? Like, sorry, there he goes. All right. So, you know, like she has feet for boots and random chunky stuff. I'm gonna take this chunky stuff off right quick and see what's up. Okay, so I've gotten the chunky pieces off. Time to play a quick round of If I'd Been the Mattel Designer. First of all, I would have made her lips the same color as her eyebrows, the orange. I mean, it's one thing in her eyes, but it's super unnecessarily bold and clashy on her lips. Not even clashy, I don't even know what to call it. It's way too much. The swimsuit, I actually like it, and I like this fabric, but they did this weird thing where it's only sewn for like a little piece right here and then left open. I get if it's supposed to look like two fins, but then just leave it in two parts, which I'm probably going to trim. And then it's like super jaggedly cut. So like, Alright, also, if you look, they even did painting on her headpiece. They did it on her boots, but not her hands or her arm pieces. I would have taken this same color paint and used it on the pieces between her fingers, as well as the fins that go on her arm pieces, and I would have painted her fingernails the same gold that's on her toenails. I mean, I get it, like, she's an underwater ghoul, so shoes are their own thing. Alright, she's gonna have to sit for a second. But these shoes looking like feet are just kind of weird. Even if, like, her actual feet looked like that would have been super sick. They could have just still given her heels. And look, I'm usually against object heels, but these harpoon heels are actually really neat. I think that my issue with object heels is mostly when they don't look like each other at all. But these are pretty cool. I'm not going to argue. This is getting left in the box off of her. Because look, I like even the necklace piece if they didn't have this rib piece. Like, it's not even necessary. Just leave it like that. Maybe put a little gold or that same like light green around the edges of it on each layer and call it a day. And these, I don't even understand why we need arm gauntlets on a girl that could have just as easily had these built into her arms. Yeah, so a lot of it's just the chunky, same colored plastic is weird. The sewing on the tail is kind of weird. But the fabrics themselves and the actual sculpt of her face and her hands and her shoes is absolutely gorgeous. Alright, so overall, I'm going to give her a 6 out of 10. Only because I feel like in order for her to be truly stunning, she would need a lot of repainting done. Or just touch-ups in general. So, yeah, deboxing I do believe was like a 9 out of 10. And then, overall doll is like a 6 out of 10. I want to say more like a 6.5. Because at least her shoes are painted, so I had some inspiration on what colors to give other stuff. But that's as high as I could reasonably go. Alright, last but not least, we are going to do the Vampire Heart Draculaura. Last but not least, so when I got Vampire Heart Draculaura, sorry, you can kind of see the indent right here. Her box came that way in the mail. It does look like, you know, they've actually added some paint detail and stuff to her accessories, but I'm looking forward to seeing them up close. Honestly, she's stunning. The face is giving everything. The rooted lashes really do it for me. I'm not sure why, but I found that, like, so far, every doll that's had rooted lashes, I've just felt a little extra love for, even when it was the case of Spectre, who didn't really deserve it. Her hair, not only is the hairstyle visually interesting, the hair piece is visually interesting, it has all these, like, little neat details, but just in general, like, her hair is actually really nice and soft in the back. So, just to see the back. And look at these earrings. Like, beautiful details. The little rose, I think it's actually metal. And then, sorry, here we go. So, I mean, I really like it. I love her face beyond. I love all the Draculauras with black lipstick, but this one's just a bit extra special. And these sleeves are separate than the actual bodysuit that's underneath. Just the dress is really intricate and really nice. This is like a cutout or like a die cut pleather. Almost like a more of a rubbery, like like a ball texture, I guess. And so I do wonder, is it going to be like other pleather stuff where it just isn't going to hold up under the long term of things? But the fabrics are really gorgeous on this one. The only thing I can say that I would do different about her is, okay, first of all, the unboxing experience, literally 9 3/4 stars, like 9.5 out of 10. She was very easy to unbox without damaging much of anything on the box. But I did have to unpeg her head because, of course, they stapled it in. Okay, so shoes. Let me go to these off. Here we go. The spirals like a staircase, the bats. There's the front with the bows. The shoes are gorgeous. They really are. And she does have this plastic under her skirt to keep it up. But what is with the white lace pantyhose with the 2 black seams down the front? Like, I understand that the white is a continuation of, you know, it's just a whole bodysuit. But what's with the weird seams? I think I'm gonna actually make her like a, and see, this is like plastic and then there's hard plastic, I should say. There's 2 plastics in here. But, I think I'm going to make her like a pink tulle underskirt that she can just like a little elastic band around her waist to fill in that gap. So you're not just like looking through her skirt to these 2 white sticks. I mean, other than that, like, she's really perfect. I don't feel like, you know, she needs a lot of work done like the other dolls that I've unboxed today. She's absolutely beautiful. So I'm also going to give her a 9.5 out of 10. And really only a 9.5 instead of a 10 out of 10 because I'm gonna make her an underskirt because I don't like the visual of her legs showing through her skirt the way they do. It's just kind of weird with the white pantyhose. But other than that, she's absolutely stunning. So yeah, I'm gonna wrap this up. I'm not even gonna show my face again because this is like 3 days later and I have no makeup on and I look scroungy in pajamas. But I never want people to think that I'm just one of those people who wants to be hypercritical and put down dolls and doll companies all the time. It's not like that. I just like to share my honest opinion. I hope that you guys have enjoyed this video. I hope that it was informational enough. I'll try to post more pictures of the Monster Highs on my Instagram. Like I said, I just never really did reviews or anything for them because I don't like the way Mattel Creations handled stuff. I just think that it helps put in perspective how I feel about Mattel's dolls and Monster High in general. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. I really, really do. I know I said that like 6 times. I know I don't make videos very often, and I'm probably got the personality of stale white bread. I'm not the most exciting person on the doll community, internet, YouTube, whatever. But I appreciate all of you guys for, you know, everything, for your comments and all the love, and I thank you for all of your, you know, well wishes in my health journey, etc. And I will see you guys around. I have some more dolls to dye soon, and hopefully if you have an Instagram, you can also follow me there. I'll link that down below in the description, and I'll talk to you guys later. Bye!